How Scrum broke Agile and how to fix it. Hello, my name is Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech support says they're coming out Tuesday, or they'll be out of our hair, guys. Be out of our hair. Tuesday. Tech support said. I'm gonna be reviewing this, reacting to this. Learn with Carl. Subscribe. Go give him a like and subscribe. He's got a small channel, but he makes good content. So bigger than mine. He's bigger than my channel, so he's not smaller than me. I guess he's bigger than me. So let's see what he has to say. Poof, right in the nuts. Okay, that's a good opener. Break and leave, all right. Sad music. Okay.
I wish I had done this instead of those daily stand-up meetings.
Me
And
too.
you know what? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today.
Nice.
Okay, so-
Yeah, me too, man.
So here's the deal. I do believe that Agile as an idea is not a bad thing, and I understand why they came up with it.
Right, yeah, okay. Cool.
But-
Cool. Wait. Where you go? Which way is he gonna go with it? Where's he gonna go with it?
Then we got Scrum, the bad guy.
Ooh, it was a plugged in, man. It was laying around, kind of ignored. Nobody kind of was paying attention to it. It was trying. It was right before the Agile stuff came in. There was people just trying to do the Scrum thing, trying to get some control of this thing, get a management on top of this thing somehow. This invisible thing called software. We'll just plug the Scrum in. We'll just plug the Scrum. Agile came up, so we'll just plug a Scrum in right there. Look, we can keep going with it.
Guy in the room. This bully kicked Agile so hard in the balls that it lost everything it stood for.
True, exactly. Yes, exactly. And people are like, no, we do Scrum. We're doing Agile. We got the Scrum. We got the Scrum Master. We got the product owner. We got the cadence. We're doing all the things. We're doing it all, man. It's like, oh no, you're not. You totally got hoodwinked. Ding. I think the Scrum stuff was a little bit of a hoodwink from the big guys that say just deploy the Scrum position, deploy the Scrum module. It'll screw them up for years. We'll be way ahead by the time they figure out they've been famoosed and fandangoed.
Agile was born with good intentions.
I agree.
Originally, software was built by a select group of people for the government, the military, and big corporations.
Correct.
These projects had huge allocated budgets, and the goals were clearly defined. We're
Yes.
talking about projects like the Apollo 13 mission for NASA.
I mean, yes, comparatively speaking, accounting, billing, insurance stuff, storage retrieval. Yeah, totally. It's like it was totally defined. You could totally do it with small teams, and it was manageable. The complexity was manageable. What they're expecting the things to do, or it was in line with what the businesses wanted. And it was already taking the roles of the businesses that had already kind of refined by using human computers. So they just wanted to replace that with a little bit more accurate system and an automated machine. So they kind of had these systems refined before the computers even got there.
Traffic control system for the FAA or financial systems for major banks. For these projects, the requirements had to be clearly defined in advance. Changing course mid-development was out of question.
Correct.
However,
But they already knew what they wanted, though. Like I said, but he didn't bring that up. See, the thing is, he didn't bring that. He just assumes, we just kind of knew what we wanted. It was just so easy to do. Well, it's because they were already doing it manually for years and years before the computers. They were desperate. They were just desperate. So as soon as the computing technology was even close, they were like, we got to put it together, because they were just they were swarmed in paper documents and using humans to tabulate and errors. It was bonkers.
as time went on, computers became more popular. Around the late 1970s,
Because the alternative was to use humans. Like, no, we have to use computers now. We're no going back. And they were like, well, now that you can do that, can you do this? And that's like, we don't really have a process in place without knowing exactly what we want. We can try. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's the best you can do. It's like, yeah, that's the best we can do is try. And then there comes a point where it's like, we can't really try anymore with this because we didn't really think about back here, which you wanted to do all these things outside here. So we don't really know how to handle that. And then all of a sudden, Ken Thompson comes around. I'm going to make a disk schedule. And all of a sudden, boom, the microcomputer revolution takes off. And people like a lot of different minds put their mind power behind it that were not allowed into the little ivory tower before that. So this is where they were bumping up the complexity and also trying to do the niche down thing. They were caught. So the microcomputer revolution was going to come anyway.
software projects began expanding beyond government and military needs. Suddenly, less and less technically skilled customers wanted software for all sorts of things, everything from small businesses to personal projects.
Yeah.
These new customers often had no idea of what they actually needed or
Correct.
what was possible.
Right.
That was the beginning of the era when things really started to go south in software engineering.
Well, because we didn't have the computer side, software engineering, whatever that is. They know how to write the spec. If you go from spec to software, but they don't know how to make the spec happen because we don't really have a science for that. We just get lucky with geniuses that come along every once in a while and just in the face of pure just determination make it happen. And we just like, oh yeah, it just happens. It's like, yeah, it happens, but does society actually encourage it? Are we building that up like in other past societies when they wanted to have those kind of engineering, what kind of the talent, they would build them up from the time they were children, and they would just make it a huge promotional, to be a huge thing in their society, and not just wait till the end when you're in college. I'm just learn that in college. Like, no, man, you learn this stuff when you're a little kid, dinking around, and there's to be like a whole social layer of people like socially getting together, do that on a wide scale, to have these geniuses be tinkering around with stuff and playing with stuff, and all of a sudden come up with something. That's how it happens. All this stuff happens. It's like that part is also never mentioned by any of these. I am the only person I see who's gone through these things and mentions them. It's like, it wasn't organic. There was no guarantees. There's a lot of the people, a lot of tinkerers. And what are you doing? Like, we don't, it was like a steam engine or rebuilding a VW, or, and all once in a while there's some guy who put a motor on a thing to do telescope stuff with a worm drive and a computer. It's like, what are you doing? It's like that stuff.
And it's only gotten worse since then.
Right, because we don't have a process for the how do you find stuff properly until Agile was sort of like give us hints about it. Those four sentences is not, it's not enough, man. People just took that and they're like, oh, we're gonna put a trademark. Yeah, it's like, it's not enough.
Everyone and their cat wanted software, but couldn't explain what they wanted. Imagine
Also we didn't really know how to do it. Also, there's it's been like that the whole time until we know what we want, and we know what we want. Oh yeah, the computer can do it, but like getting to the point where we know, these tools were not meant for the exploring the space. The tools were meant for defining the space. Once you know what you want, defining it and fixing it. If we call it software, but that's really what how we've set these tools up and how the languages and all that stuff. It's really for being in place. The changing management stuff is still something we should really listen to Alan Kay and Jaeger Boogie Inko. They kind of have that stuff figured out, so you don't. Let's keep going.
Imagine a client saying something like, I need a system for my shoe factory that tracks inventory, manages employees, and somehow makes everything faster. And that's all they would tell you. The more specific questions you'd ask, the more...
Because that's what they were told by all the media, all the TV shows, and all the media. If you look back, you can go look back at all the stuff at the time. That's how they made it sound. Like you just added these machines and you all of a sudden profit. They didn't really know anything more. There was not like this push for how software works or even what it is, or that it was probably the most important part of these systems is the software to make all these machines do stuff. And there was, to be really honest with you, trade secrets. Do you think these big companies really wanted competition after spending millions of dollars to do the software and to get the customers? Do you think they really want to let people know how the sauce is made, so to speak?
Confused they would get. They had no clear idea of what they were asking for or how to describe it. Assuming we could start a project with clear goals has become the exception, not the norm. To avoid losing clients while keeping their mental sanity, developers had to accept the new harsh reality. But how do you...
It's always been that way, though. It's just we don't have tools from our education system about the tinkering, the experimentation, that it's okay to make mistakes. It's like part of the thing. We don't know how to put that in the expense reports. Like, we don't know how long does it take to learn chess? You don't see all the bad moves, and all the mess ups, and all the frustrations, or the dedication level. You don't see any of that stuff. All of a sudden, there's some champions. There's one third place right there. But where did he come from? Where did that come from? No mention about it. It just pops out of the air.
Even deal with such clients. Here's how. Do not assume we can figure out everything in advance. So keep talking with the customers until they get what they want. That's the essence of Agile. Plus work.
Okay, yes. I'm going to agree with this guy. This guy gets it. He's on top of it. He's obviously a professional developer. He knows how this thing works. And that it takes a special kind of person to have the risk tolerance that we don't know we're going to get there. Even if it's possible, we hope we can. We can try to get close, but is it going to get to the thing that blows up and makes $1 billion? We don't know, man. We don't know. And it's like, well, how much is that going to cost? Like, we don't know how long. We don't know how long, but we get, okay, give us a month. At the end of the month, at the end of the thing, if we're not showing progress, if we haven't gone further along or got more focused in on what we should be doing, how we're going to deliver this thing, the system involved, the users, what they want, then we cancel it. And if you do, then do we keep going another month? Let's keep going another month, man. And that's why it's the risk profile of the people who create these things. They gotta be very highly like tolerant to like the amazing amounts of risk, and a strong belief in themselves and a strong belief in the thing that you're trying to do, that pull them away from other opportunities they could be doing with their skill set to do this one. The opportunity costs are really high. So people picking things, they want to do the same stuff as low-hanging fruit. I get it. But the low-hanging fruit's going to be taken over by somebody else pretty quickly. So you need to go, this is the age of getting niching down. Like, people that don't know what they want, you deliver it for them, going through this process of figuring out how you can deliver stuff to them profitably. This has always been the thing. Let's keep going.
Independently, self-organize, and stay flexible so you can quickly adapt to changes. These principles were put together in the Agile Manifesto, which is a glorified guiding document that unfortunately leaves too much room for interpretation.
Oh, complete, yeah, 4 sentences, 4 little, come on. I can't even believe they got away with doing that. This is the Agile Manifesto. I mean, everyone, like, maybe it broke through some managers going, hey, by the way, the waterfall thing is not going to work. So some people are like, oh, yeah, it's not going to work, right? And then we're like, got a little bit of things, and the results were pretty amazing from that. But that's like the first 20%, and the last 80% were like, we need certifications. We're not going to figure this out from 4 sentences. We're not at the pain level. Yeah, we haven't gone through the journey up the mountain to be like, oh man, I need better boots.
Now, while these
They're like at
principles
the bottom of the mountain going, I can get away with these socks on, right?
form the foundation of Agile, they do not say how to actually do anything. And I think that was a grave mistake. When you only define...
Well, they can't, though. The thing is, how do you say in like just lessons, listen to your customer. You listen to kind of what you have to have an insight. You're going to have to have insight. I know there's no, how do you get insights? Well, first of all, step 1, it's like, no, you have to get an insight somewhere and be inspired and go, okay, I'm going to use my skill set, which I could be using something else on this thing. And the thing is, like, I'm going to try and get the product market fit. So how do you get to a new thing, a new valuable thing? It's like, well, you can take somebody else's thing that's almost already doing and slice off a piece. That's one thing you can do. And then you could focus in on a niche part of that thing for that particular customer. And so how do you is there any guarantee? No. Well, that's the thing. There's a risk. That's the risk. There's no guarantees. And people are like, well, I want a guarantee. It's like, well, you're in the wrong business.
Principles without explaining how to implement them or what should and shouldn't be done, people start coming up with their own rules and interpretations.
Absolutely. Trademark, certification training, revolutionary overhaul, a month-long transformation. We're going to take your team. We're going to stuff them full of Agile. And by the way, where you're going to use Scrum. Oh, no, it's the industry standard, though. It's industry standard. It's like, this is the opposite from Agile. Those are some ideas and things like, yeah, you should have a stand-up every once in a while. Every day, everyone has to be the same location. Could we do it async? Maybe not. There's phases in the project. You never even mentioned there's phases of the project. Yeah, we need to get together every fucking day. And there's phases of the project. It's like, I'll see you in a week, guys. I need to see you do this song. I figured out what we need to do. I just need to go punch through this thing. And it's like, well, would you stand up? No, that's when you don't do stand up. That's when you don't just go silent. And then at the end of the thing, you just trust that person because it comes up at the end. It's like, come on, this is. And don't change any specifications. Don't change any APIs in the way that's happening. And when you got to that point, it's like, okay, yeah. So there's none of that. So people had to come up with it on their own. And they go, I'm on a transformation. We're doing all this. We have Jira. We're doing Agile because we got Jira. It's like, Jesus Christ. That is not Agile. Agile just means flexible. And that's the worst word you can say for these kind of guys here. These guys are here. The preservers are the biggest hump in the corporate environments. They don't want to hear got to make changes. Now, these means to destroy creator types. They're like, hell yeah, we got to make changes. We're just like, you mean we can actually listen to the customer and make changes? Really? It's like, yes, we can get rid of that thing, stop doing it that way, and do something else in a new way. We can do that? Yeah. And these guys are like, oh no, are you crazy? We just need the 5 easy tricks. Look, we did an Agile transformation, and the guy said all you have to do is do Scrum and do a stand up every day where people talk about their cats and dogs and their vacation and what they had, what kind of latte they had. And that's all you need to do? No, that's what you need to do is you need to talk to the customer and use your stick to cut away where they're doing right now and have the wisdom of something new that's going to do it better. And how are you going to do that? I don't know. There's no plan, dude. That's all taste, culture. It's a curation thing. It's like not like stuff that you don't want and stuff that you do want. Like it's like being in an art gallery. It's like there's only so many walls in the place that can have things hanging up on there. This particular show, so what do you keep and what do you leave? It's like that's what's like. How do you decide that? There's no science, man. It's all taste. It's all art, taste, culture, ethics, morals, art. I don't know. It comes with context. Who's this? Who's the customer? Why? All that stuff, man. Stop that. Let's go down here. Okay, I'm gonna go play. Let me spool out a little.
Which may or may not align with the original intent. That's when so-called agile frameworks started popping up like mushrooms after a rainstorm, along with businesses that make good money selling expensive certification exams just to prove you are an agile expert.
It was terrible. What a famoose. What a famoose.
Scrum is one of these agile frameworks. And if it wasn't
yeah, I love it already.
clear from the title, I detest Scrum with a passion. I was unfortunate enough
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's totally missing the point of Agile. That's why when I first encountered this Agile Scrum thing after coming back, after selling my company, I came back and did the Android stuff and they were doing this stuff. I was like, this doesn't seem better. This seems like that's the same thing I was doing with extra steps and get people to get to shame each other for you didn't get the point count right. It's like, and then standing up and telling about your failures and every wanting to people who don't care and they're looking off in the road. It's like, what is this? I got 16 people in the room. Everyone talks about their dogs and their cats and their weekend. And about 5 seconds on the ticket, I'm just continue on from ticket number 7400. Okay, I know what that is.
enough to work in Scrum teams for almost 10 years. Thus, I have solid and well-founded reasons to
He's
Scrum
like, he's probably got wrinkles from this. This wrinkle right here is from the Scrum meetings for 10 years.
everything that can go wrong with Agile. Let's start with the so-called Scrum ceremonies.
He's having flashbacks. I'm having flashbacks too, buddy. I'm right there with you.
Come on, is this some sick cult? Anyway,
Yes, it is. Actually, it is. I've done a lot of shows on that. It's totally a cult. What's known as a cargo cult, buddy. Now, look, this is industry standard. This is what Google does. So Google, Amazon, they all do it. And we're 100% confirmed that they're still doing this today on every project and everything they do. So we must do it as well.
my favorite is the retrospective meeting. It is supposed to help the team identify what went wrong to avoid
It's a blame game. Yeah. Turns into, you son of a bitch, you pushed it into production. I was still working on that ticket and you overblew my, you reset the test server and I was running a 3-day long test. I gotta restart it.
to avoid repeating those mistakes in the future. This meeting shouldn't be a blame game. Yet, it
But it
usually
always
turns into a
is.
stressful finger-pointing session
No, I know, to be fair, I've been at companies where it wasn't, but in general.
that does more damage than good. Why do we need such a meeting? Even without mentioning names, how does discussing mistakes in front of the entire team help
You could use your elbows. You could point people at your elbows. I don't know who pushed the bug into production. I don't know who did it. You could use your hands like I don't know who did, but it sure did mess up my weekend. I was supposed to go to ACL.
anyone improve? This is nothing but public shaming dressed up and sold as a Scrum.
Yeah. Shame. Shame.
Instead, we should rely on code reviews and the occasional tough love from a respected colleague.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right, man. This whole thing is ridiculous. There's totally better ways of doing this. This retrospective silliness. Let's keep going.
I know Scrum experts will start commenting that retrospective meetings should not work like that. However,
Oh, they shouldn't, but they do. They shouldn't, but they always do. Huh. Isn't that funny that I've across the planet, we both had the same exact experience of how these meetings actually go. I know they shouldn't, but what safeguards did you put in place to make them not do this? There aren't any. Oh, whoa, whoa, wow, shocker, shocker that it turned out the way it did. Wow, these people. Go ahead, leave your comments below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. It shouldn't do that, but they always do. But it always does. Always does. Always. Okay, nearly always. Like the default. Put it this way: the default is it's gonna go sideways into this blame game baloney, because they all do it. Oh, did you put anything in there in your training guide? I ain't never heard of it. I've heard these damn agile trainings. I ain't never seen nothing about how you make and not do turn to this. It's like, well, everyone's just happy, gluey people. They never have any problems. All like workplace is a toxic environment. There's all kinds of favorite egos and weird power trips and mind games. No, there's none of that going on.
Well, that's how it usually turns out most of the time. Another Scrum ceremony I find utterly nonsensical and unproductive is the daily stand-up.
Yeah, he's doing cats and dogs and what I did this weekend.
Daily meeting where each team member has to answer 3 questions. What they worked on yesterday, what they plan to do today, and whether there are any obstacles blocking their progress. If you've never participated in a daily stand-up, you might find it amusing the first time. It gets boring by the second time, and soon enough, it becomes downright annoying.
Totally.
15 or 30 minutes wasted trying to sound smart or cover up.
This guy totally. Now, did you Agile certification Scrum guy? Did you talk anything about this particular little problem with your little daily stand up? No, never mentioned it. Oh, okay. Never.
Not doing anything meaningful.
Everybody has the same stupid experience with this crap. It's like kindergarten. What did you take your nap? It's like nap time, everybody. It's like, oh my god. Who is this for? Again, I think it's psyops. I think it's psyops coming from Google and these Amazon companies. This kind of baloney. You gotta stand up every day and say your ABCs. It's like, Jesus Christ. Look at him. Look at that line right there from all the Scrum stand-ups. Let's keep going.
I have reinstalled my computer because it seemed sluggish, so I could not fix that bug yesterday, but I'll fix it today.
Oh my god, I'm having flashbacks myself.
Once I set up my development environment.
I'm not kidding you. You'll hear this kind of bullshit frequently in Scrum Daily stand-ups. Why enforce such a meeting? Why should we listen to each other's rambling about...
Because Amazon did it, man. And that's how they're a billion-dollar company. Did you know they're a billion-dollar company? That's how Amazon did it. That's how Google does it. They have $1 billion. I want $1 billion. And all I gotta do is force you people to go do this stupid shit. Tell them it's for development purposes. This is how they did it.
What they are working on and what issues they've been experiencing.
Well, I was kind of depressed there for a couple days because that bug that really was, I just thought I had. I was just really depressed, and I called my mom. And my mom said, you should call your father.
My code depends on your implementation. I would know what you're working on anyway. Otherwise, why would I care? It's just another unnecessary interruption that prevents you and me from doing meaningful, deep work.
But management gets to have a meeting, and they love meetings. They live for them. They're just like, la, la, la. It's their happy space. La, 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 la. Look at me. Look at all these people in this room. They all look at me and they think I'm their leader. That's the purpose of it. So all these certifications, why they put the Scrum in there, because all these crazy meetings, which managers really think that's getting production going. And don't understand that it's totally not making production. That's why I think it might actually be a psyop from these people, Amazon, whatever, to tell people, yeah, do Scrum. You have 1,600 meetings a week. And then make everybody blame each other for stupid shit. It's going to fuck them up for years. I'll never catch up them, JB. Excellent plan. Deploy PSYOP number 27. The Scrum meeting.
Give me a break. Daily stand-ups should be prohibited. They are counterproductive and useless. Actually, the daily stand-up goes against the first principle defined in the Agile manifesto. Individuals and interaction.
Exactly. The first one, they're like, that's why I was like, read that. I was like, so I come at it first. I didn't know anything about Agile, Scrum, or nothing. I used to go to these meetings and it's like, oh, just do this, do that. They're like, what is all this crap? And I started looking into it and looking at the meeting, like the first sentence, I'm like, this is totally not what we're doing. Like, why are you saying this here and then we're doing that over there? This is like the opposite. It's like, no. This is you don't understand. I know you're new here. It's this is industry standard. We had a big training transformation, and so they, even though they said this at the beginning, they just threw it out the window. They started talking about Scrum meetings
over processes and tools. Developers should collaborate closely and interact with each other if and when needed.
Correct. And these managers, like they were they ever programmers at one time? Because they seemed like to forget this. I was like, hey man, after I figure out what you want, it's gonna take. I can just go off on my own. I don't have to sit right now. I mean, I might not even sit next to you. That might be helpful at this particular moment, but maybe not. Maybe I just do it on my own. Then I come back, I show you. Or you go do your thing, I do my thing, and we come back. But sometimes we gotta sit together and do it. We're doing API boundary stuff. Yeah, we got kind of stuff together. But it's like implementation time. Sit by yourselves. These managers seem to not even understand any of this stuff. It's like, did you actually do programming? You think just like moving into management to programming has changed? No, it's all the same. It's the same stuff, buddy. It's the same crap. There's no magical thing just because you have 5 people underneath you. Weird.
Enforcing regular daily meetings just turns interaction into a forced ritual. Now, let's also talk about...
Yes, it's a ritual, a forced ritual. Yes. And it makes management feel really good about having meetings because they can schedule something. I have to skip one this, guys. And it's like, well, you get to skip it. You're the one that put these things together. Skipping it? No, we skip it. You have to be here, dude. Like, we need you. Like, why are you even... Silliness.
Sprint planning. That's when the team discusses what should be implemented next. So far, so good. However, the estimation...
Okay, yeah, of course. We're always figuring out what we're going to do next. What the hell? This is like, let's keep going.
Is the worst
just go, Chris.
Imagine trying to break down a requirement into small pieces and then guesstimating how long it will take to implement.
Oh, yeah, he's in it. I hate estimates. I hate the lying. I hate the lack of information. I hate the pressure. I hate the thing where we have to put a point on it. Like okay, and so in my guide, Adventure Driven Development, we have points, right? But other little teams will decide on it, and you keep the points. It's not a penalty. It's like, how much of a pain in the dick is this going to be? And you keep the points as a badge of honor. Look at I do all this crap. We don't mind doing hard things if we're not put the time for just like time pressure. We know the time. We already talked about the time pressure. Adventure Driven Development. There's one schedule. It's at the beginning of the thing, and we never talk about time again. We know we're under time schedule. We understand that. That's why we're doing this thing differently. We're not talking about time anymore, so we get off that. Here we go. Let's keep going. I'm heated.
Is a word. Sometimes it's unclear even what done means.
Yeah, what is done? I think I blew a few interviews when I had asked them this question. At the end of that, I did the technical stuff. They get to the end of the interview. They would ask them, "Do you have any questions?" I was like, "Yeah." So, what's the definition of done? And see him just go, "What are you talking about?" Well, like on these tickets and stuff, like. Do you have a thing that says just go round? Do we ever finish it? Do we ever finish out? Because that's a lot. But they say it's like definition of done. Let's keep going.
Giving an estimate for something that vague is like playing poker. You give your best to appear like a pro. You try to hide that you have no clue.
The playing poker. Where everyone has to get the same hand. What kind of poker game do you have to get the same hand? That's weird.
Why you said it would take 5 hours to implement that feature. You could have said 2 days.
It was not supposed to be a time thing. It was supposed to be an effort thing, but that also got lost. Every place I've been, I've had to bring it up like, hey, tying the time to this point value is not part of the whole thing. I don't know where they would go through the whole training. Then at the end of the thing, they go, yep, time is point value at a time. So a day is 1 point a day. It's like, no, it's not. That's not what they said, but that's how we're doing it here.
Days or even more. But Peter Brownose said he could do it in less than a day, so you can't really say more.
Yeah, he can do it in 1 point, Chris. So, you want to change your point value now? Because he says he can do it in 1. Are you going to be a team player and change your point value?
Right? There's even a method involving poker cards to help estimate the tasks. I'm not kidding you. Agile is all about flexibility. So why are we
No, we know you're not kidding. You're being super real, and we're all feeling it. If you haven't been into these things yet, you're lucky. But if you have been, you totally are. This guy is nailing it.
obsessed with irrelevant estimates? Why not just start working on the tasks and do as much as we can within the next couple of weeks? If the feature isn't done, we pick it up in the next sprint. Simple as
That's too vague. That's too vague. That's too vague for management. They want to know the crystal ball. They want us to read into our crystal ball, which every developer is given. When we're given a keyboard, we're given a crystal ball, and we're given them the ability to see into the future with all possibilities that may or may not ever happen. Everyone has this. Every manager knows we have one, but we hide it. It's like this little ball right here. We hide it. We hide it away, and we never ever show them. And all they have to do is like peck at us. How long is it again? How's that get? And they just shave points off because we have the little crystal ball of seeing into the future and being able to do accurate estimates.
that. All right, enough about ceremonies. Let's switch to another annoying aspect, Scrum roles. The Scrum Master is by far the most annoying.
I can't believe they call him a master. I can't believe they got away with this for so long. I'm a master on the team. I whip people into shape. No, it's not like that, but it always turns out that way. No, they're not like that. That's not how it's like. But it has master in the name, and he kind of like tells people what to do, and keeps up track on them. No, it's not what that's not what he coaches you. He doesn't stop.
Hypocritical and made-up role I've encountered in my professional career.
Yeah, it's
The idea
ridiculous.
is to
That was only available in the ZERP. The Scrum Master stuff is ridiculous. That was only available in a ZERP when we had had to pump the BS jobs to get the head count so the managers can move up the chain, etc. And do the stock buyback programs.
have someone who coaches the team and helps them implement agile techniques.
Oh my God.
What? We're talking about grown-up people. Let them read the Agile Manifesto and do their work the best they
No, they did a transformation, the same one that Google said that they did, which told them they needed extra headcount. And somebody on the team to get an ego around bossing people around that are totally more mature and older and more experienced and can read a to-do list.
they can. Why do we need a permanent Scrum Master? How does he coach us? Most of the time, the Scrum Master is just another wannabe project manager. If you watch them closely, you will notice a pattern. Their main goal is to climb the corporate ladder and get as far away from coding as possible.
Exactly.
Either that, or they are mere spies carefully chosen and placed by management to keep an eye on the team.
Yes!
Imagine a guy
that is exactly what the exact opposite of all the Agile Manifesto bullshit. That's why when the Scrum stuff came on, which is, by the way, comes from Japan for a Japanese manufacturing process of cars, automobile manufacturing in Japan for Japanese people making Japanese cars in the 80s. So somehow this guy's weaved in and is put into the software production, and it just creates bad feelings for everyone in the end, and slowdowns in work, and eventually open to direct competition.
whose primary and usually sole
The businesses that keep doing this stuff are open to direct competition because they can't defend themselves. Their defenses are like little baby seals. Just club them. That's mean. But it's kind of true. They're like, we can't move. We're too fat. You can just conk us on our heads. We won't do anything.
responsibility is to be there whenever the team gets together.
That's a bad
Yes, including the
metaphor.
daily
But
stand-up.
I'm going to keep it in
It's
the...
supposed to ensure that nobody
the
talks too
video.
long and people don't start to ramble about irrelevant things.
Exactly. Listen, I'm going to enjoy it. I was talking over. I want to enjoy this part. It's juicy. I love it. Let's keep going.
Is to be there whenever the team gets together. Yes, including the daily stand-up. He's supposed to ensure that nobody talks too long and people don't start to ramble about irrelevant things.
Oh, but that never happens. The Scrum Master really goes on about his stuff. Like, we don't care what you do, buddy. We don't care what your weekend was. The decorations in here for Thanksgiving and 4th of July. The room he's supposed to stay. Has little exercises for us and little supplements. You give us little supplements to keep our brain health going.
For God's sake, we're talking about grown-up people with a college degree. Do we need someone to police us?
Yes.
It also said that the Scrum Master has no authority over the team members.
Yeah,
Yet I haven't seen a case when they didn't try to act as an authority.
Yeah, of course. This sets it all up psychologically, sets it all up for that. Come on, this is so silly. And the thing is, there's no studies that show that this is better or worse than anything else. In fact, the studies show it's much worse. So how do they get away with it? Because they're on the sales circuit, they're on the conference circuit, they're on the book circuit. And so it's sales, conference, book, driven development. This is book-driven development, conference-driven development. That's why adventure-driven development is the only way to go out of this shit. Because if we're looking for these guys, either cargo cults, they're going to sell you something. 5 easy tricks to get your software development on schedule. Like, and it's all this baloney. Oh, get yourself a Scrum Master and he'll spy on your team for you. He has no authority, but he will get some somehow.
The Scrum Master role is a bad joke. It's just another harmful Scrum artifact that should not have been introduced in the first place. I could go on and on about...
That's he's pointing out too. I think this is some psyop shit, man, from these big companies to destroy and deflect and defend their moat by deploying these industry standards against people who can't figure out that they're being famoosed.
What's wrong with Scrum and how it makes software engineers hate Agile. But I stop here. If I had to conclude everything wrong with Scrum, I'd say that Scrum treats software engineers as clueless kids.
Like trying to be cogs in a machine. Look, just pass your leak coding and we'll get you a job in here and put you in a box. Give you the inputs, you do the coding, and we'll put the outputs. Yeah, this is how it works. And again, I'm like 70% sure this was deployed by bigger companies to get people off the track. By the time they figure it out, they're out of business.
It enforces useless meetings and adds made-up roles to make our lives unnecessarily hard. There's nothing agile in this.
See?
It's more like a bad joke that should be gone for good.
Yeah.
Now, go check out my video on how I broke free from Scrum meetings and corporate life in general.
Badass. I'll go ahead and check out his channel and all that stuff. I gave him a like and subscribe. He's pretty good. I like his stuff. I like his take so far. But he doesn't go into the side. He doesn't go to the meta of like, I think there's a psyop going on here, guys, because people to do this, they're companies and people just hate it. They're like, nope, industry standard. Nope, that's what we paid $2,000 a head for all of our development team to go through the revolutionary change, which is going to get us all freed up. What does the Scrum Master have to say about it as he decorates for 4th of July? I got some brain chemicals for you. All right. Well, I'll keep ranting if you want. Just give me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.